Next up is the bass. It doesn't really need a whole lot of sound design. You don't put effects on a bass usually, especially not on the sub bass. Morning guys, I stayed in the studio, I slept here. I didn't do that for quite a long time. When I wasn't living together with Vanessa, I used to sleep here in the studio almost every day. It is just saving so much time, almost an hour that I spend every day going back and forth between the studio and home, and just staying here is so convenient. I always keep clothes here to change. And I also have always a toothbrush here. Feeling already a lot better. Now, before jumping right into making music, my camera is still not really working. I ordered a new one with same-day delivery. It should arrive tonight with a bit of luck. Super impressed that this is even possible. So jumping right back to the track that I started yesterday, I've laid down the foundation of the track, all of the melodic parts. I will just play them to you really quick that you know what's going on in the song. First, the verse. It has piano chords, the same chords with a string sound, and a nice little guitar melody. Next, the chorus part has the same piano, strings, a different guitar that is playing way more, and underneath chords that play a rhythm with a synth sound that I will later automate. And of course the chorus part with the drums, the bass, the chord steps and the main melody of the guitar. The next part right after writing the song is actually the sound design. I just picked presets for the synth sounds. I need to adjust them and find better sounds. Also, the guitar just has an amp on it and needs some effects, and I would probably just start with the guitar. For my guitars, I always use Native Instruments Guitar Rig. It's just by far the best plugin for guitar sounds. I've used it on every track where I use the guitar. It has a lot of nice amps, it has a lot of nice effects, chorus, reverb, delays, a lot of good presets that are a perfect starting point to make something unique and interesting. I just love how much you can change guitar sounds just with it. And these are just some of the presets I have for my guitar sound. 3 presets I've made myself over the years, and I will now go into one of them and adjust it even further to make it really fit to the style of this track. Got the amp and the equalizer all adjusted for the guitar. That's what it sounds like now. Next, I'm fine EQing it with the EQ of Logic. Getting rid of the low end, of course. I've also lowered this part right here, just because this is definitely going to be a vocal track, especially in the verse and the chorus. So I'm carving already a little bit out to have more room for the vocals. But the fine adjustment of that I can of course only do when I get the vocals. Next, adding waves as one imager. With it I'm just making the guitar sound wide to separate it even more from the vocals. And of course checking if it's mono compatible with the correlation meter. I'm adding to this verse guitar part quite a lot of reverb because there's not much else going on and I want to sound them quite dreamy and sit in the background. I'm just using a simple plate and also getting rid of the low end. I want the guitar to sit even further in the background. It still has a little bit too much attack for me, and to make it even more dreamy I think I will add a delay or a ping pong delay. Just using the stereo delay of Logic. That's maybe a little bit too much. I have the feeling there's still a bit missing, so using a bit crusher, I set the downsampling to a 9 and the mix just maybe to 10%, just to give it that little bit that you won't actually really hear, but it's still there and helps the sound a bit. Just for you to hear the effect, let me play it to you with 100% of mix. I'm doing now the same to basically all of the other guitar parts, just with the difference that they will probably get less reverb and less delay to make them less dreamy. Next up, sound designing the sub bass. I usually don't have any effects on the sub bass, just an EQ, and the rest is made within the synthesizer, just trying to shape a clean sine or saw wave to have the very low end going on in the track. For this purpose, I'm just using the subboom bass, getting rid of the very low end to make room for the kick, and of course adding some sidechain. I'm adding a higher bass that will probably just play a saw wave, get the low end removed so that it doesn't collide with the sub bass, and this will make a very fat bass where I can control the very low frequencies separately from the frequencies that are sitting a bit higher. And this is the higher layer on top. I've used on this one another one of my favorite synths. It's called ACE. It looks a bit complicated because you can just drag any cable and plug it somewhere else, but if you work a bit with it, you will get the hang of it. The bass sounds super boring on its own, but that's actually good. This way it doesn't collide with anything else. I don't have any effects on top of it. The chord steps are anyways playing the same and they will get all of the effects. And taking care of them is actually the next step and probably by far the hardest. I have now a sound that I actually like, that I used on the Not Scared track, but I will try and see if I can create a new sound. On this one I'm just using my new favorite soft synth, the Serum. I just got it a couple of days ago and still didn't really have the time to play a whole lot around with it. So I will now take my time and try to figure out how it's actually working. Also creating new sounds, going along learning and saving them if I come up with something that I like. I had a very successful sound design session. The Serum is less complicated than it looks like, but it's by far the most unpredictable synthy I own. It's almost impossible to know what the wavetables will sound like, so it's a lot of trying out. I managed to make a couple of my own sounds. I've saved them into the user preset bank. Let me just play you all of them very quick. Can't really decide which one to choose. They all sound pretty good, but I think for now I will stick to the Not Scared sound. It just sounds the most familiar and I also played with it. The chords might replace it in the next couple of days. I don't really know. I now have to work on another project for the rest of the day. I will continue this one tomorrow. I've made one small little mistake. I ordered the camera to our home address instead here to the studio. At least I now have a reason to go back home. I think otherwise I would just stay here in the studio for the next 2 weeks, and this is the first time wearing shoes today. I don't know why, but almost nothing gets me as excited as new gear. I just love opening the package. I just love the smell of new stuff. Getting everything out of the box. Assembling everything. Turning it on for the first time. And then just play around with it for countless hours. Just a quick small test, let me know what you think. This is the old camera, picture quality and sound. I think the picture quality should be the same to the new camera, but the sound quality should be way better with this camera because I can use for the very first time an external microphone.